everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Beach Court Podcast. We're minus one member this week because he's on a plane currently flying to London. But don't worry, we've got an interview coming up with top eight finisher Maddox Corcoran, one of our own from Puerto Rico. We'll give you our
Yeah.
updates from the weekend, what we did this weekend. Of course, we got to look at the Champions League results. They just posted on Limitless tonight, the top 16. 5,000 player tournament in post rotation format. So we'll talk about that. But that's not what you're here for. We won't spend a lot of time on that. You're here to talk about the European International Championships this weekend. Maddox is on his way. I leave in 2 days. And we're going to bring you all of our opinions on what we think for the meta this weekend. Parker, you're our Maddox. You're our pretty boy this week. It's not me,
Oh
so it's
boy.
got to be you. You got to
Uh,
fill in the shoes, man. How you been?
I don't know. There's some big shoes to fill. I don't know. I've been pretty good. There's like was working all weekend. My coworker Blake he was actually down in Tampa playing at the Vanguard Regional. He
Right?
actually was fourth seed going in the top 32. Ended up
Ooh.
losing. But someone from Jax actually got third the first day and then won the second day. So they won
Well, is
themselves.
it two separate tournaments there?
Yeah, it's two. So one, they have three different formats, and day one is one format, and then day two they split it up
Okay.
one format, one format.
Okay.
But he ended up winning, so he got an all
Sick.
expense paid trip to Japan. I'm
Yo,
I'm jealous.
that's pretty good. I mean, how big are their tournaments?
They had 350 the first day, and then 250 for the that tournament
That's
in the end.
respectable. I mean, that's like Puerto Rico special event.
Yeah, it's about the same size.
Anyways, let's talk about our weekend. Of course, I was not in Puerto Rico. Sadly, I was at the Daytona 500, spending the weekend with my wife. We had some racing, had some fun, and Trump was there yesterday. God, like because the
Really?
president was there, the security was so stupid, dude. Like
That's crazy.
an hour and a half long wait to get like 100 feet into the venue.
That's yeah.
And it was just wall to wall. People were fainting. It was like miserable line, dude.
From heat or like
Yeah,
just
from
being
heat and
together and
standing,
like
right? Yeah, heat and standing.
jeez.
Yeah, it was bad. But,
Yeah.
that's we got to the gate finally. We realized why it took so long. So they had one Secret Service cop on each line, and then they hired TSA to do the bag check.
Well, it's like you were in Puerto Rico with Maddox too.
So,
Did you use your
uh,
pre-check?
no, they didn't have a pre-check line,
Dang.
sadly. So that was kind of the problem. But anyways, that's my weekend. I was kind of following along with Maddox and giving him updates and trying to give him decisions on ID, not ID, you played out, things like that, which we'll talk all about with Maddox later on in the podcast. I did a one-on-one interview with him before he took off today. So I'll spot that in here and you guys can hear his thoughts on Miraidon in Puerto Rico, where he finished in top eight. He was the number one seed going into top cut. So without further ado, let's jump into the Puerto Rico results for special event. At Christian Solis taking home with Miraidon. You had Stephen Hamela in third place with Miraidon. Max Corcoran fifth place with Miraidon. You see where we're going with this? Anyways, the rest of the top eight. Second place, we had Archalodon. And fourth place, there was a Dragonbolt Dustnor. Fifth place, Cloth Terapagos. Seventh place, Cerule Edge. And eighth place, Archalodon. I asked this question to Maddox later, but I want your take, Parker. Is Miraidon like the best deck in format right now?
I think for the foreseeable future, I think it's definitely up there. It's like it's just so fast and like I was literally solitaring it before I got on the pod and I was like, wow, like you just get to play every game.
Yeah,
Much like I wish you could say for every deck. Like
right.
this past Thursday I played Cloth at locals and like three of my games were just unplayable. I mean, one was because of Clef Key, but like the others were just like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like there's nothing that really like hard counters it or anything. It's just like
I mean,
fast.
I think Klefki is a good tech for like
Oh yeah,
our players this weekend.
definitely.
To definitely put in their decks to try to slow down But if they're popping in for
Everything.
a Klefki, then they're not getting their ults. So I'm all right with that.
I'm
Um,
not.
it's we nest ball for hands, we'll generate to it, and we'll arm press. It's fine. It's fine. Next turn we'll amp because they have a slow start. Yeah, whatever. No big deal. Um, until I get Klefki locked on stream in finals, this will come back full circle.
And come back to haunt you.
What do you think about the top eight here? I mean, anything stand out? I mean, this Rule Edge kind of crazy.
The Cerulege, yeah. I mean, I didn't really get to see his matchups or anything, but like Cerulege, I mean, I think it's a real deck. I mean, if you don't get hands turn one, you probably just win Miraidon because all you have to do is attach one energy from hand per turn, and you're hit like a million damage.
I don't know if it
Um,
was this opponent. It might not be this Steven or this Ceruledge, Edge, but Maddox said he hit a Ceruledge Edge that played three drill bursts and some fighting energies to get the fighting
oh,
energies.
it's like when you play it,
Like the
you
dig,
mill
dig,
three
dig.
or put three
Yeah.
in.
Into the hand. So you like put him in the hand, then ultra ball away, get another Drillberg, go Drillberg, get more. I guess he also played Blender. So he said like by turn one he had like 25 energies in the discard pile.
God.
Oh,
Let's see. I guess this guy beat a lot of good people. I
so
mean, he
Steven?
beat yeah, Stephen Lowe on Cerule Edge beat Jose Marzin, Owen Dalgard, Dylan Smay, Eder,
Yeah.
and then I would with Steven and Justin, I guess.
He beat Eder.
Yeah, you beat
Good
him that
man.
day.
What a good man.
But yeah, he's yeah, I mean that's like a pretty tough slew of people to go through. It doesn't show the decks on here, but I know like Eder was Lugia,
Yeah.
Owen was Miraidon, right?
Right on. Yeah. Oh, it was right on.
Uh, The other ones. Well, I guess like the IDs are we have those, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, seems like pretty standard results overall. I mean, where's the Guardy, right? Where's the
Yeah.
Guardy? Where's the Lugia? Right? We keep saying the best three decks are Draggable, Dusknoir, Guardy, Lugia. Right on seems like it's trying to make its way in the conversation
Oh
to
yeah.
be top three.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later once we get to the EUIC results or RIOC beta, excuse me. I do want to move on, and I want to talk about the Champions League in Fukuoka. How do I say this? I should have I butchered this.
I think so. Wilka, I don't know.
I should have
I
like
should
looked this
I
up,
should
right?
know this.
Fukuo sorry, Fuku is what
Sure.
that's what Google says. So, anyways, Champions League there. Tord Reklev and Rahul Reddy signed up and played, and as expected, they both did well. Rahul got 40th place, and Tord Reklev made top cut, 11th place with an Ogre Pawn Noctowl deck. So he plays two Teal Mask, two Wellspring, and a regular Tropicus, a Ditto, Lily's Clefairy, four Noctowl, and three Energy Switch. So you're just Teal dancing, you're attacking with Wellspring every turn because there's no Manaphy in format. I mean, well, there's the Rapska, but no one's playing it. So,
Yeah.
what do you think about Tord Reklev's deck and the results that him and Rahul were able to put together with the deck?
I would say it was some like crazy toward esque deck, but like there's other
Oh,
people
we got
playing
Pikachu.
it.
You can attack with
Yeah,
Pikachu too.
yeah. And there's other people playing it in this top 16 here.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I mean,
There's
it's
something there, right?
underexplored.
Yeah.
There's definitely something there. But yeah, wonky results from this Champion League. Like I wouldn't expect a lot of these decks up here, but I don't know.
How do they deal with Dragapult? Like, I see the Clefairy there, but how do they use it to the advantage?
I don't know. Everything's playing like two Monkey Dories and Darks, like
Oh, it's a
literally
Rondo
like
attack. Oh, it's just a Rondo attack.
oh, but yeah, but it makes the dragon weakness
Right.
psychic.
So as long as you can get to like 160, which is your bench alone, right?
Yeah,
Your bench alone KOs it.
yeah.
Okay, all right, I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
Dang, Dragapult counter hard, huh?
Well,
That's a hard Dragapult counter.
yeah, maybe we need it.
Yeah, I mean, where is Dragapult? I mean, we're at one in finals. Goldango Dragapult in finals
Goldango.
versus. Hey guys, you guys know what won the Champions League? Feraligatr. The Gator versus Dragapult Goldango. Who would have thought we saw the day with a Gator in finals?
Yeah, guess I gotta go dumpster diving for all my copies of that. But
I
I
still
want to
got the
know how
staff ones if
much.
you want them back. Hey yo.
Um, I want to see how heavily they lean into melodic in like the Dragapult matchup.
They
It's
probably
probably
have
pretty
to,
big.
right? Yeah, that
Yeah.
Mimikyu, right? Yeah, both of those.
Yeah, well, Mimikyu can die on your bench, but yeah, I feel like melodic just gotta pull a ton of weight, and then you just infinitely monkey dory any
I
damage
mean,
on.
I watched one match where the Dragapult, sorry, it was Gardevoir versus Feraligatr,
Mm.
and the Feraligatr player only set up a single Feraligatr the whole game and just destroyed Gardevoir with it. It was like use the ability
Moved.
Monkey Dory retreat lock something. Like, bro, it was insane. Like
Yeah.
the Feraligatr, it was just insane what they could do. I mean, like they didn't even play Devo, but they probably could play Devo.
Yeah.
Like, this is like one of those
It's-
decks that just could play Devo.
yeah.
For those of you who don't know that are listening, don't know what Feraligatr does. This Pokemon that came out in Temporal Forces. Feraligatr says, for Torrential Heart, the ability, once during your turn, you can put 5 damage counters on this Pokemon. And if you do, your attacks used by this Pokemon do 120 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. And then Giant Wave for double water says 160 damage base, and during your next turn, you can't use Giant Wave. But you play the Relicanth so that you can use the pre evolutions. You've got the Crocodile for reverse thrust for 30 damage and 1 energy. It's a hit and run, so you can run to Mimikyu or run to Melodic in this case. And then the Totodile is Big Bite, does 10 damage during your opponent's next turn. The defending Pokemon cannot retreat. So you got lots of options in this Feraligatr deck. Do we think this deck is the real deal, or is this easily counterable?
And I've been meaning to play it. In the current format with like the V stars and stuff in it, I think maybe, because like I think Lugia gets around all their tricks somehow, and then like Drago can just like cure them. I don't know, but like post rotation, it seems pretty promising, honestly.
I mean, I was shocked to see it do it. I was watching one of the games. Did you watch Champions League at all?
I did not get to watch Champions League, but I did watch a few games from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. You watch Maddox eat some empanadas?
I did not watch
He,
any of
he
it.
ate empanada on stream.
Oh, did he? Dude, I watched, but like I was at work, so like I watched like all of game one, and then I didn't get to see any of game two. It's like I don't know.
Just then, Maddox Corcoran's flight to London canceled. Moved to
What?
Wednesday at 8 a.m.
Huh?
Oh, poor guy. That
Dang, get
sucks.
him on the pod. No, I'm just
Get him on the pod. Yo, get him right here. Get him now.
kidding.
He's probably so tired. He got home at like 1 a.m. last night.
Yeah. Man, I remember what we did last Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
What was our flight at 3 a.m. or it was 5 a.m. or something?
Yeah, 5 a.m. flight and then drove to
Drove
Miami.
to Miami. Yep.
Those of you that don't know the story, since we have a lot of new listeners, and thank you, by the way, while you guys are here. Appreciate all the support lately. Make sure you press the subscribe button, the like button. We really, we're on our way to big things this year. We got some big things coming. But anyways, the lore behind this story is Parker and Maddox and I all went to Puerto Rico in 2023. How many points did we need? Like 600 that year for
It was
Japan?
350. It
Oh, only
was
350. Oh, that's
350,
because it
but
got
like it
reduced.
was, yeah, yeah.
It got reduced. So you had 350 points, and Maddox and I paired in round, let's just call it round eight. I don't know how many rounds there were. Round
It was
eight.
like, yeah,
It was
4 or
basically
5
round
rounds.
eight, and Maddox only needed one more win. I needed two more wins to make worlds. So Maddox scooped to me. We went and got lunch after I like destroyed him with the spirit tomb, really. And
Oh,
and then the next round I get paired to James Cox, who is playing Guardian, proceeds to absolutely tear me a new one. So I miss Worlds. Maddox wins his, makes Worlds. So where were we? We were back at the B&B. What happened?
yeah,
What happened there? Was it like Maddox that was like searching
yeah. And we saw that cool stuff. Hollywood had a League Cup. It was a Monday night, right?
Monday night? Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
Monday night.
Monday night League Cup. So we drove back to Jack's, right? And
I think we
then
flew into Jax, didn't we?
maybe
Or
we
no?
must have, yeah, maybe we did. And then I went home and got like an hour of sleep.
Like an hour of sleep.
And then we drove to
You drove.
Hollywood. Yeah.
You
Well,
were MVP.
I drove like most of the way there. I don't even
Yeah.
remember who drove back, honestly. I don't even remember getting back.
I mean, I drove like 2 hours on the way back, but then you drove like the last 3 hours because I was like, I can't do this. I'm like dying.
Yeah. I don't remember getting home, but
So we
yeah.
get home. We get home. Meanwhile, I'm supposed to work this day, but I'm just like, I can't do it. So I call out. Well, I can't do all this and that because I was like 10 points away from Worlds. But winning a cup got me the last 10
Got
points I
you.
needed. So I was like, all right, Parker, you needed points too, right?
If I got second, it made it so I had to get a whole tier less
Tier
at
list at
NAIC.
NAIC, right?
Yeah.
So we were like hoping to make finals together, and then like just like let's go home. Anyways, I'm like, all right, what should I play tonight? Or like, what's the most brainless deck to play? Remember the deck? What deck did we decide on that was the most brainless deck to play that night?
I don't remember. Was it Fusion Mew?
Arceus Tina.
Oh, it was Arctina, yeah.
Arc Tina Judge Path Prey. And that was really it. I mean, I hit Lost Box in top four, which was a tough matchup. I
Yeah.
lost Tina, and then I was able to win it. And then their opponent conceded, and I got the world's mat. So, and Parker drove for us like from 11 p.m. to like 4 a.m. Anyway, that
Holy
week,
crap.
that's the craziest way I've ever qualified for worlds. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, I will we'll move on to our EUIC prep in a moment. Any last minute thoughts on Japan and what the meta looks like for Atlanta?
Um, I think that this is maybe not super indicative because Americans, and I mean, I don't know, everyone else just gets like tends to play, faster decks than Japan does, but I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, we got one ends deck in top 16, so that
Yeah.
looks interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know everyone's playing the melodic wall deck to counter
Mhm.
the fast Raging Bolt deck that's like big in the meta.
Yeah.
It counters Dragapult and it counters Raging Bolt at the same time. So, oh shit, the Lilies also bodies Raging Bolt too.
Yeah. I mean, you're training 2 for 2, but yeah, it kind of does, I guess.
That's crazy. But you can just go single prize board into Teal Dance E Switch and go, well,
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy. I didn't think about that one just now.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we'll see what happens with that meta. That's not the episode. We're not talking about Japan right now. We'll come back to that. But next up, we're going to transition to our interview with Maddox and recap his top 8 finish in the Puerto Rico special event. So Parker and I will be back in about 20-30 minutes after me and Maddox talk. Hey everyone, my name is Eric Ridgway. I'm the host of the Beach Court Podcast. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And if you're enjoying it, please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe on this video on YouTube. It would really help out the podcast a lot. We've got more episodes, highlights, and more coming your way. Thanks for listening, and now back to the show. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Beach Court Podcast. I'm joined back again, as always. Maddox Corcoran is here. He's on the ground in the States, not for very long. He's got a flight in here like 7 hours, but he's gracious enough to donate some of his time to us today, even though he wasn't going to come on the podcast this week. But after getting top 8 in Puerto Rico and the special event this weekend, I had to force him to come on. So, Maddox, thank you so much for being here. How are you feeling? Have you slept? What time did you get home?
Honestly, it's just been kind of a whirlwind, right? I mean, obviously, I'm on the podcast most weeks, so an interview segment for me isn't normal. But like, just because my flight was like scheduled to get back from Puerto Rico like 11 p.m. and I needed to like sleep, and then Parker was working during the day, and I fly out like tonight. I mean, I'll be in London for anyone listening to this by the time that you listen to this. But like, it was like no turnaround time to get like me and Parker on the phone at the same time. So we are just not gonna do me and then. But then I got top 8s are like squeezing in a work day. I'm like in between doing laundry and like lunch and dinner plans, just running around. So glad to be here. I'm feeling good. Ultimately, I kind of set out on this 3 week of back-to-back travels, chasing a big finish, knowing I was capable of it and just kind of needed to show up and have the results. And then I had a couple of good back-to-back weekends, 34th in Merida, and then with the 5th place in Puerto Rico this past weekend. So feeling good, goals accomplished, and now I have London to have some fun and honestly probably play the same thing and see how UIC goes.
380 points later, and you've already passed me. I'm like, bro, wait, whoa, chill, man.
Hey, just need a couple. I mean, and that's a great. And again, we've been talking about all this since like our Worlds episode, right? It's like those like top finishes are just like so huge, right? A top 8 getting the 280 points versus a top 16 160, right? I will like throughout these past 2 weeks, I'm like, hey, I'm playing for that top 8 spot because I know getting that will be huge for my Worlds journey. And I didn't have a great first half of the season, so I got to come at the second half of the season hard, and fortunately been able to do that so far.
Man rolls up to cups. He's done with 4 cups in like 5 weeks. Already has more points than me. Like, bro, making me feel bad over here.
Nah, you're fine. The UIC's your time.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so let's recap kind of what happened in Puerto Rico, right? Obviously, congratulations, you made top 8. Unfortunately lost to our Miraidon in top 8. We'll talk about that match in a little bit later. But give us your thoughts as you were like heading to Puerto Rico, right? Mm-hmm. Like you come from Mexico, we played Miraidon. You're texting me all week. Hey, should we change anything? Should we change anything? Like, what was kind of like your thought process? Like, I know you didn't get to play many games, so like, what was your thoughts throughout the week?
Yeah, I mean, so during the week, again, it was such a quick turnaround time. So we got back from Merida on Monday, and then drove from Orlando to Jacksonville, got in late, and then I had to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Thursday was like packed for Puerto Rico and London. So it was just kind of ridiculous. So I mean, I'm trying to remember. I might have played a couple games on live. I was playing a little bit like Dragapult. I was playing a little bit of Miraidon. There was a little bit of a philosophy going into Puerto Rico that says, hey, if there's gonna be less players, maybe I could go and play a higher power level deck when it's less linear and try to like skill diffs. And even work. They talked with Aiden Kuzo on the plane ride back and like talked a lot about Dragapult, and we just had a master class shot to him. But I mean, really just kind of decided, hey, Miraidon's a good deck. People will not pivot quickly enough to change off what they're going to play. And I was expecting a spot where it says, hey, I'm a good enough player where even if I'm playing Miraidon, I can still show up and do well with it, and was able to do that. We talked about changing some cards in the list. The main thing that I was considering was Lost Vacuum, and I kind of talked about that in the chat. So shout out Steven, who actually did end up playing the Lost Vacuum in our Miraidon list. I decided to run the same 60. Ultimately decided I didn't think Cape Guardia was going to see enough like play to warrant the vacuum. Vacuum just have like niche cases for healing, but I couldn't find a card that I felt comfortable cutting without taking a cut to consistency. Steven cut the 3rd Ultra Ball for Lost Vacuum. I decided, hey, I want my deck to run as consistently as possible because I'm playing the game. That's just going to be the best chances to do well, and just enhance what our deck already does well, and keep doing that, as opposed to saying, oh, I'm teching the deck out to like beat all these niche scenarios. Every card does something, but at the end of the day, saying, okay, if I play more switch cards, if I play more ball search, if I play more boss, if I play more draw supporters, the deck just does what it does better, as opposed to say I'm limiting like the upside of I'm limiting like the consistency of the deck to be able to do more things. And when you can amp you very much, or Photon Blaster, that pretty much takes care of everything you need to, sometimes that's all you really need to do.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Miraidon's the deck that the turbo decks usually have the problem of taking the the one prizer and turning it into a second prize, and that's why you played the Zapdos to kind of help for the 130 Pokemons and things like that. But our list specifically over the last 2 weeks, we love research, right? We just like send it, draw cards, but it doesn't seem to be catching on. It doesn't seem to be the norm. And anyone who kind of talked to outside of our group that hasn't tested it's like, I don't know. And so talk about specifically, some of our friends you were talking to on Friday that made their way to Puerto Rico, that do love playing Miraidon. How'd that conversation go with them, trying to get to convince them like through our testing? And do you still feel like research is correct? Or, what are your feelings on, that list?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know the list as intricately as Eric and I, right? Our list, the standard for Miraidon list would be 4 Arvins, like 3 or 4 bosses orders. We only played 3 Arvin, but instead played 2 Council Professors research. So I think the case between like Arvin and research, I think the big benefit from our list is just a consistency bump. We say, hey, we have 5 cards to help us see more cards or see the cards we want to see, instead of 4. And again, it's a small change there, but I think that extra boost of consistency, over the course of a tournament, does help, especially in the matchups where you're getting disrupted a lot with Ionos or, an early unfair stand from Gardevoir, for example, being able to force Sealstone for research and immediately like refill your resources, or, to just, draw into it off of a Mew EX or from Serendipity flip the script, like all these options, it gives you some of that. So, but again, it's something that people aren't as comfortable with. And honestly, if I go to someone and says, hey, here's a cracked list, you've never played it before, but it's good, trust me. Some players would pick that up, but also if you're a player who I gave that list to and you said, oh, well, I haven't run any of this before, so I'm playing what I'm comfortable with. Honestly, I can't really fault you. I think playing what you're comfortable with is most important. Research, again, I think the key part of it is, right, if Miraidon lists could play a 5th Arvin, I think they probably would.
Right.
Research is not Arvin, for sure, not even close. But there are some cases, where research does, enable those next plays, which says, okay, maybe I don't have bench space for those support Pokemon. If I'm able to research, I'm able to put more pressure on my opponent to force to disrupt me or draw into a boss's orders for next turn. Or there's been some situations where it says, hey, I need a generator and a double turbo. The only way I'm getting that is off of research. And you get there sometimes, right? Like, there's some of those niche cases that I think you lose otherwise, that you have the opportunities to win because of playing a card that gives you a little bit of a different option. Also really helps you to like having a really explosive early game if you're able to go like Squawk and Seize into a Professor's research. Just see so much of your deck.
So good.
Now sometimes, right, if you research away 2 boss, then you probably shouldn't have researched. But like, there's some of those situations. But I think overall, some account of research is probably correct in the list, ups that supporter consistency. We're talking buddy of ours, Adam Reinhardt. I sent him the list, tried to get him on the research build. Who he's actually played plenty of research Miraidon before. But again, he was comfortable with Arvin build. Did well in his own right. Just missed top 16 at 17th place. But again, I think there's some merit to research. Again, if you're less of a fan of research, I think there's a world where you could just play like 4 Arvin, 1 research. Again, I think the big piece is like, this is a consistent list. It's saying we play lots of ways to see cards. We play the max count of ball cards. And we still even have double switch cart. I think the only thing you do to make it more consistent would be to like cut switch cart or like cut another Pokemon, or cut like Zapdos and like play another energy or like another boss or like, all this is already very consistent and beats a lot of things, which is why ultimately, as I've spent more time with it, I say, hey, honestly, this list just works. It's consistent. It does what it does well. And I like the list a lot.
Yeah, a strong player playing consistent lists is a scary thing when you sit across from them. So hopefully you'll have some of that success carry over into EUIC this weekend. So good luck with your fight tonight. Let's move on to Puerto Rico, the event as a whole. For those of us that haven't gone in a while, I think me and you went 2 years ago now.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, so we went 2 years ago, and the event was very different than what it looked like. The pictures I saw, it looks like you were in the, some type of auditorium with some bands, and you got seats on the side like it's a gymnasium. So talk us through kind of like the Puerto Rico special event experience. What went well, what didn't go well, and what would you recommend changing in the future?
Yeah, 100%. So one, again, it's super cool to see the growth of this event. Again, Eric and I went back in 2023, my first special event there after COVID. And probably 100, maybe a little over 100 people there, but we're all kind of like packed into like this second floor of like cards were kind of an event space. We were like very much packed in there, and they've really like upped the level. I know last year they had even bigger. This year they had, I think they had a cap of 350 in just Masters, plus they had, a bunch of juniors and seniors plus other games. So we're actually in Coliseo, but I basically like an arena, kind of like a better than a high school gymnasium, but a court that was then covered up and had tables for everyone to play, plus had a stage where the hive was, spectator seats on the side, and actually like the juniors and seniors actually played on like the second level type of thing, because there was like a second level with like they had more chairs because there was just so many masters, kind of packed them all into the bottom, and then had the juniors and seniors up top. So we got there again. There's some like difficulty of the information plus language barrier, so I wasn't like super in the know compared to like if Gaming Gen's running an event, I know where to find all their stuff, and I'm very like in tune with how they communicate. So a little bit harder finding some of that communication stuff. But at 9 o'clock, we were kind of expecting to start, but they actually had a little mini like opening ceremony where they went and said, hey, hey everyone, welcome to Puerto Rico special event. I'm gonna get things kicked off, and brought out a band. You had like a 4-person drum line and like a 4-person horn line. So I wasn't really expecting a little opening ceremony, but had a little band kind of get the crowd going. Called some of the juniors and seniors, and they did like dance or something interactive with them. So it was kind of cool. There's definitely a little part of me that was like had just drinking my coffee, was like itching to like play, and it was kind of like waiting and like moving to the music. But I'm like, I got all these matchups spinning in my head. I'm like working on. So, but ultimately, again, I think the culture there and the fanfare about it, right? The community's very excited to be there. Community's very excited to welcome visitors. There are lots of people that I met or kind of re-met there that even some knew us from the podcast, or they even said, hey, I remember meeting you at the event 2 years ago, or I met you in Orlando, or like different people that I've kind of seen through different walks. So plenty of shout out to a lot of the Puerto Rican locals. Several others from Mexico and Latin America came in for the event as well, and also there's several other Americans that I know, some different folks. Shout out to like the Carolina crew. I know they had a big showing as well, and did pretty well in top 8 as well. So and it was great. I think some of the event like planning things, there was a lunch break, so things just kind of went on for a while, and like juniors and seniors only played one day, so I think like they got done at like midnight because they played their rounds and then finished top cut. So
yikes.
So like juniors and seniors went for a while, but shout out Professor Richie on Twitter, who was kind of the main one running things. I know he I think he did a great job with the event itself, right, and everything that was in control there. Some things with the venue, some bathroom issues, kind of like there are always at regionals type of thing. But they had a concession stand, got some $2 empanadas. Honestly,
like we saw those on stream.
Yes, I was on stream round 4. It was after the lunch break, but I didn't have a chance to really eat during the lunch break because I was like waiting in line for stuff. So I finally got my empanada, and then they started the round. Sit down across from Steven, and we hadn't set up yet. So like, hey, we're gonna put you all on stream. I'm like, okay, great. I'm like, can I bring the empanada? They're like, yeah, sure. So I was like, all right, well, I better. And Steven's doing his opening deck search stuff. I'm like, all right, well, better eat some of it now while I can. I don't have to do anything yet. So, but had a little bit of fun with the stream there.
Yeah,
had a fun time on stream, even though I got destroyed by Steven. Shout out to him. Just go 0-2 and just got 0-2 stomped in the mirror. But
happens.
Only 1 or 2 sets I lost all weekend. So honestly, I can't really complain about that.
Yeah, I can't really complain. So talk us through day 1, Swiss. You show up there, you got some, you got the band going, juices are flowing. You sit out across your round 1 opponent.
Yeah, sit out across round 1 opponent, Lugia. I'm very, very happy to see Lugia because Lugia is again one of the big 3, like we've been talking about for a while, and I didn't hit any Lugia in Merida, so I'm like, okay, finally hit a Lugia, finally in a little better shape. In the matchup, like in my matchup preparation, even though it's very scary for like Lugia going first, like our prep says to go for Miraidon to go first, just to be able to have like the best chance of just saying, hey, I'm going to take 2 prizes on the first turn, or on my first attacking turn, and Lugia can't really set up and put any pressure on until their second turn anyways. So I was able to win first game. I mean, I can't spend too much time about every game, but basically, the matchup was a little closer than it needed to. Game 3 came down to like, okay, I got Ionoed, and I need to like, hit the last pieces that I need, or boss around Legacy, and between, Euic and Fezidipity, pretty good cards, so we got there. Round 2, I hit a Raging Bolt. Not a match I'm happy to see. I lost to the 1 Raging Bolt I played in Merida, but was able to get there. Just kind of like finagled my way through. Little did I know that would be the first of many Raging Bolts I'll play that day. I go immediately in round 3 into another Raging Bolt. I'm like, oh geez, I'm like another Raging Bolt, and again, like hard sets. I'm winning all these in like 3 games, and then just having to like really like out tempo them. Have to choose second, just like dig for the attack, or get like a bundle KO, or go early Raichu, like a bunch of shenanigans, and just like, it's a tough matchup. I'm surprised I managed to be able to win 2 back-to-back, but feeling again being able to win those tough matchups, in a space like this, in a place far from home, again, just lucky to be able to pull that off in 3 games for both of them. I talked a little bit about round 4 against Steven. So my first loss of the day, which was like, hey, I hit a friend. Steve and I had even talked about intentionally drawing. Kind of decided, hey, it's early enough. The tie bracket might be kind of beneficial for us playing Miraidon for hitting like Guardies or Dragapults, but ultimately Like I said, hey, I'm fine for one of us to move to 4-0, and it's a coin flip matchup, so it's kind of like, okay, well, like it could go my way or it couldn't, but that's I think for each of us it's just like best to just get someone to win and move on from there. And
we want us to succeed, right? As a group,
exactly,
right?
yeah.
So like someone wants to move on, yeah.
Exactly. Round 5 hit Cerulege, which I feel pretty comfortable in the matchup, like mainly because like we can always take the first prize, kind of similar to like Lugia. I'll go first into it and just say, okay, they can't evolve and really put any pressure on. I'm taking 2 right away. You can use Amp very much a lot. It's hard for them to be able to chain attacks. This Cerulege was actually playing the fighting energies with Drillbur. Actually played 3 dig Drillburs. So it'd be like turn 1, he'd be like, bench, like he opened Drillbur, like, okay, Ultra Ball for Drillbur, discard the energy. Ultra Ball for Drillbur, discard the energy. Like blender, like he was just like burning through energy so quickly. So he was able to get game 2.
What A spec was he playing? It's not Blender.
I think he was playing Blender still.
Blender and Drillbur?
Actually, it was honestly, I don't remember what he was playing, but it wasn't Legacy Energy, so I really didn't care.
Okay.
Whatever it was, I was able to like deal with it. If I was like, whenever I hit Cerulege, I'm like, okay, is it Legacy Energy? So it's Legacy Energy. It could be a bad time.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even remember the aspect.
Anyways, that's fine.
Yeah, but end up losing a game to him just because he's able to turbo through quickly, and I think he was able to hit one of it. Like he played like an Iono and was able to like kind of get me out of it. But was able to win that set in 3 games. Round 6, I hit a Gardevoir, and I hit Andrew Zhang, so solid player. He's out there. So again, I'm just able to kind of get early aggression with Iron Hands. He does play the Mawile, and we do play our double switch carts. We run into a spot in game 2 where I'm down a switch cart, but I still have 1 more left, and he's able to go and say like, hey, I have like counter catch your Mawile, but we're kind of running low on time. We probably have like 10 minutes left in the set. And in game 2, and he says, hey, he's kind of like, hey, he drops the Mawile. It's like, hey, I have Mawile Arvin for counter catcher. Gus, like, and I see your down switch card. Do you have an out, or do you just want to go to the next game? So I know I have the other out, but looking at it, I'm like, okay, well, I think I had like 3 prizes left. I was a little bit worried, and like my hand was like pretty dead. Like I didn't have like Arvin or anything in hand to be able to find the switch card. So I'm like the problem is like I'm gonna be like passing a lot. I like didn't have early attacks like I needed. He's able to Monkey Dory a lot of damage off the Gardevoir. So I'm like, okay, I kind of need to just like draw until I find a card that gets me to my switch card. And then I think I still have a chance to lose. So I like when I pass my turn, I like see my top deck. And then I just kind of say like, think about it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't have any more outs. So I get a situation where like maybe I should have played out saying, because he was kind of like, oh, because if you have a second switch card, I just lose. And I'm like, well, I feel like I could still lose even if I do find my second switch card. So I kind of just feigned that I don't have it. And I'm saying like, okay, well, I'm like, okay, I don't have it. So I'm like, okay, so if it comes up to the situation in game 3, then I can't be like, actually, I do have double switch card, so I win. But I was just kind of saying, okay, maybe I can get aggressive enough in game 3 that I have time. Because it was a situation where there's so little time left. Again, I'm playing for a deep run here, so I didn't really want to take a tie when I didn't think I needed to. So we're playing quick. You're probably like 8 minutes left in the set, and he opens very, very slow. He eventually is. He has to. He draw passes a little bit, like just able to get some Pokemon out, but no draw supporters. Eventually, he's able to get a Mind Bend, and I'm able to Arvin for a switch cart. And then pretty much from there, once he realized I can just switch out and then amp again, go down to 2 prizes, he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm too far gone. He had no way to be able to get into a Mawile that next turn, and just conceded there. So good set against him. Maybe he doesn't know, maybe he looked at my list later, but I do play the second switch card. I just didn't have access to it at the time. And then funny enough, in that set, I had prized, in game 3, I had prized one of the switch carts. So like there's a situation where like it could have lost if he was able to get a Mawile anyways, but it was kind of funky situation. Round 7, I had a Dragapult Zard. Not my matchup I was looking forward to. Again, anything with Charizard is just gonna be super tough. He plays it well. He just goes like double Charmander both games, and I'm just kind of having to like, okay, bundle, take out a Charmander, amp a Charmander, just like trying to go really, really aggressive on the Charmanders. Set's pretty simple. The games where he gets Charizard out, game 2, I lose. The games where he doesn't get Charizard out, games 1 and 3, I win. So simple as that. And then so I'm 6-1 at this point. I'm locked for day 2, feeling good, but still looking for more. 7-1 would be putting me in a really, really good spot heading into the last day. There's only 8 rounds in day 1 here, and then in day 2 we'll play 2 rounds of Swiss and then cut to ASIM and top 8. So I hit fellow Mew enjoyer William VMAX.
Oh, that's what you hit round 8?
That's what I hit round 8. And I knew he was playing Raging Bolt. I actually got down paired into him, and I was like, oh great, my 3rd Raging Bolt of the day. So kind of similar to the games before. I know it's Raging Bolt. I'm like, okay, I go second. Got to go aggressive, able to close out the game with Raichu. Game, I think he didn't draw well with that. Well, game 1 either. Game 2, again, he's able to go second. I don't draw well. He doesn't draw well, but he draws a little bit better, and he's able to get ahead, and it's too far for me to recover. And then going into game 3, I choose second. and I get a little bit lucky here. He goes, open Raging Bolt, attach Energy, attach Bravery Charm, pass. So I'm like, okay, matchup's pretty tough. I'm like, if I can just get a Raichu donk here, so I just play all in for the Raichu.
I have energy though.
Yeah, but so I mean, but I had a very very good opening hand. I had like Secret Box plus like Secret Box plus enough search cards. So I was able to go like, okay, Secret Box.
That's 3 generators.
Yeah, so I was able to go, well, yeah, so I opt not to use the stone. I have to hold the stone because I knew I needed to switch out of the active because I opened. I forgot. I think I might have opened to hands or something. So I like needed more than. Actually, no, I opened to one prize. I opened to one retreater, but I remember like looking. I'll talk about this later. But anyways, I'm able to like do the play. I'm like, okay, we get the 2 generators, hit 2 on both the generators, and then I just need to like squawk into a energy and a switching card. Get into the energy. So now you start up on me for the switching card. I realized then I had prized rescue board and switch cards. So if I don't have and I think and Latios or something. So I'd like actually only one out in deck. I guess heavy ball, but like I only had the one out in deck to actually get the switch card, which is the second switch card, but was able to go and V-Star for the second switch card and then pull off the 300 damage play with Raichu. So very very like very tough there, but like very very proud to have made it there. And again, put myself at 7-1, which is a very good position for the next day. From our math and doing the limitless calculators, we were expecting that 23 match points, so 7-1-2 would be asymmetrical cut. So there's a chance for us to potentially just double ID in day 2 and then be locked for asim cut.
Yep. I mean, that's a big day 1, right? I mean, that's a lot you just threw at us. So yeah. I have some questions.
I'm surprised you let me talk for that long without telling me to be quiet.
You're on the podcast, so would you change anything? Was there any spots where you're like, well, I wish I had vacuum. I wish I had second Zapdos. Is there anything that like you're like, man, is the meta really developing where I have to change this list?
I mean, it's right. I would be lying if I didn't say there are situations like, oh, I never wanted any other card in my hand at any point during the tournament, because like that's not true, right? There's always cases like, oh man, if I had this, would be great. I definitely had a spot where I said, hey, this research would be much better if it was an Arvin, right? Like I had a case like that. But you kind of got to look at these things like over the grand scheme. Yes, were there games where like certain things would have helped me? I think yes. I think overall, I was happy with how the list ran. Happy with like the resources available. I know things like Super Rod versus like Stretcher, was very happy to have Super Rod multiple occasions throughout the day. Having the option to research, I think during and really I think it was because like in my day when we're going through my matchups, I played like 1 Dragapult and 1 Guardy. Those were the only matchups that were like really disrupting me consistently. Yeah. So there wasn't really any cases where I really needed research that much, because I normally got to like keep my hand. It was very rare for them to be Ionoing me. I guess against Lugia. But for Lugia, I kind of need boss anyways, so like research wasn't too helpful there. But yeah, so like overall, I think the list was fine as it was. Again, really, I think it's just being comfortable with the list and enjoying it. That's kind of what carried it for me. Where there have been some niche cases where this card would have been better as this card. Yeah, of course, because there always is. If you can play theoretical Pokemon, then you always pick a different card in your hand and fifth lightning energy, right?
Sure.
But I think over the grand scheme, like, I would probably keep things as is. Heading into like EUIC and future events. Again, the list is just very consistent, and it's hard to like make a change from that. And also like it's gonna be hard to see like how much the meta shifts. I do think like Lost Vacuum is just like a good card, just because it gives you options. You can go and bump your own area 0 to get some liabilities or some pre-damage guys in the Dragapult matchup, or you can go and get your of your opponent's like your Hero's Cape or a Bravery Charm in the mirror. Like there's definitely some cases for it. But like overall, do I feel like you need it? Like no, I think you normally have other ways to get those prizes at the end of the day.
Okay. All right, well, good to note. So you finished 7-1. You're feeling good. And then I think for some reason some pairings went up that may not have been right for the next day.
Yeah, so it was funny. So like after round 8, right? So we were everyone was going home. So I'm in the car, and then they paired round 9, and they paired like the entire tournament into round 9. So I'm like, I called again Adam, who was at the video. I was like, hey, they're not playing, right? I was just making sure. Like, no, it was just a mistake. So I got paired in. There's basically only 4 people at 7-1 at the end of the day. So there was me, Steven, and then Steven. The other Steven Lowe, who made top 8 with Ceruledge, and then Owen Dalgard, who was playing Miraidon. So 3 Miraidons and 1 Ceruledge. I already played Steven. And I got paired into Stephen Lowe playing Cerule Edge. So I guess kind of knowing it was interesting. Like, okay, I guess I know my matchup overnight, so I can like kind of think about the Cerule Edge matchup. But basically, as it turns out, like the next morning, they did correct things and they didn't pair the rest of the tournament. They just said, okay, just the people who made day 2, now we're pairing all of them. So when the things got repaired, I did get paired into Owen, who was playing Miraidon.
Oh, because they paired the whole tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, hey, you're 06 and 2, you're 06 2. Like, hey, you're playing someone who's 1 5 and 2, right? I was like, they paired the entire tournament. So that's why I was like, what the heck is going on?
All right.
So, but then they corrected it like first thing in the morning. So I think it was just like maybe didn't have a setting right. Again, they got to fix, wasn't really an issue, but it was an interesting thought, like going to bed being like, oh, I know who my opponent is, which it ended up not being them, but I guess it could have been them. So it was just kind of interesting how that worked out.
So we talked about it. You could have double ID'd, most likely to guarantee like asymmetrical cut. And at the time, it kind of looked like if you had done that it would have been a 12-person asym. Right. And we looked at your resistance and you're like 57%, right? And
yeah, so
just talk through your process of like the decision to ID or not ID.
Yeah, so right at the end of day 1, right, it was all of our group of 7-1s were like, oh, hey, we're all spot working double ID. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. Yeah, we're locked in for cut. Things are feeling good. Yada yada. I kind of started thinking on it more, and like a double ID, it's like it works, but like it feels odd, right? Especially when you're in a tournament, where there's no one else better than 7-1. So it's like you're at the top of the tournament, and you're in the best positions of the tournament. So like, what's like the most advantageous use of your position at the top of the tournament is kind of my thinking. So as I was thinking on it more, and also compared to all the other 7-1s, I had the lowest resistance out of them. So my resistance was like 57, and everyone else's was like above 60. So as we were kind of doing more of the permutations, I was saying, okay, well, this is an asym cut, and I mean, I'm literally like looking at standings, looking at prospective pairings, and like doing the math on like pieces of paper, trying to like figure out what this cut could be. Based off all my work, it's like we're expecting maybe like an asym cut of like 9 to 12 people, and 23 points being that limit. And I was worried about my resistance, saying like, the goal for me for this event, like I mentioned earlier, is a top 8, a big finish. Top 8 points is so much more than top 16 points. Right, 160 versus 280, right? That's a whole top 32 finish better by just making top 8. So I was very, very highly valuing getting to top 8, and then started to think, okay, well, what's my best way to do that? When I started doing all my math, it seemed very likely that 24 was going to be like towards the top half of the bracket, and I think very likely to dodge asymmetrical, because I was expecting other tables to take the draw, and for things to kind of work out that way.
Right.
So I had a hard time like sleeping on it. Trying to say, okay, do I take the sure thing of like a double ID into asym to have a chance to play in, or do I dare play it out, and the risk would be going 8 or 7-3 and getting top 32.
Right.
So I looked at it as, and actually shout out some of the folks in the Chicago chat, and also shout out Kevin Kruger made a good point. They kind of said, hey, either way you need to win. Well, actually, it might have been Josh Frink, but either way, shout out to the Chicago crew. They're all great. I basically said, hey, your goal of top 8, either way, you need to win one game, right? So either need to, win around 9 or round 10, or I need to win the first round of asym.
Right.
So the thinking here is, hey, if I'm playing round 9 and 10 are guaranteed rounds where I get to play those. I have 2 chances to win those. I suppose if I take the double ID, I get 1 chance to win. If I hit a mirror, things could go wrong. Well, anything could happen. It could hit a bad matchup. I view it as, hey, I'm at the top of the standings. If I lose round 9, I have a chance to win round 10 and then be in and dodge asym. So kind of decided to say, hey, bet on myself. We're going to make something happen. The top 8 finish is important enough to me and big enough for me that I would risk losing top 16 points going on to top 32. That's ultimately kind of what I decided with. And I think the expected value of that, got better, especially when I knew the first match was a mirror. I'm like, okay, hey, 50% chance I win this, 50% chance I lose this, and I have another chance to win the next game. So it's like, what are the chances I lose both of them? Some amount, but ultimately decide, okay, hey, let's go for it. Again, I'm very nervous about the decision to play it out just because, could be losing a chance at asym. But then sit down across from Owen and he was wanting to ID, but like I said, hey, sorry, for my chances at Worlds, I need to play this out and try to get a win here or the next 2 to just kind of lock in my placement. So end up playing that round 9, which is very nervous about it. Things are kind of chatty back and forth. Owen wins the flip and chooses to go first. We've kind of talked a lot and back and forth like Miraidon mirror. If you go first, if you go second, I think there's merits to both. Like going second, it's very hard to like pull off like the
It
knockout
is.
that you
It
need.
is, yeah.
Because you need to like bundle out the Pikachu EX from the active and get like an amp on a one prize.
And you're gonna bundle it before you hit your generator.
Right, because then if you hit a generator onto hands and like attach double turbo, then they're never pushing Magnemite. They'll just go push some Miraidon, and you can't do anything about it. So
That's when you pop the other generator.
yeah, I mean exactly. Yeah, hop off the other generator. Yeah, because we just have it like that because we're Miraidon players. No, but I mean, but also, and I was also even like talking to Adam Reinhardt about in the prep, who I lost to Steven, and then Steven in the top four lost to Adam. So Adam was 5-0 at one point with Miraidon.
Steven lost to Adam?
Yeah. So I was like a resident Miraidon master, Adam Reinhardt, who we've had on the pod before. And it was kind of saying, hey, since I don't have Rotom, I should be going second since I can't really utilize the turn one. And like, I maybe need to play into like having an explosive turn two where I get everything that I need and able to swing the prize trade early. So what follows with Owen is probably like the most ridiculous and like awful like 3-game like Brian set of the mirror. Like none of us ever got a turn one attack. Like turn two, I mean like things are just like jank all across the board. I end up winning game one. I'm just kind of able to like out tempo again. Like I went magnetic charge with my Magnemite, and then like he missed the amp on it, and then I'm able to go KO, and like I think things were just weird, right? Like I'm able to win that first game. Game two, game two again, he chooses first again. I think I like magnetic charge, and then he goes like boss KO, and I'm like, my hand sucks. Magnetic charge again. Like things were just bad. I got like way too far behind, and he had like a board full of energy. Game three, I'm like, all right, we got to just decide to make a gentleman's. Game three, it's my hand is like Pikachu, Zapdos, Iron Hands, like boss, lightning, heavy ball. So I'm like, okay, open Pikachu. I'm like, something good off the heavy ball, please. And it's like, no Pokemon off the heavy ball. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I'm just like, all right. Actually, I think I opened bundle. No, it was bundled Pikachu and Iron Hands. So I like, and I like retreat the bundle into Pikachu and then pass. And I had like hands down as well. And then I retreated to Pikachu, and he has a slower start as well. He just goes like Raikou Smack Pika, because he kind of recognized that I don't really have much going in my hand. And I top deck a generator, and I'm like, well, this is a good card, but like I just have an Iron Hands in play. I don't really have too much I can do. But I like a switch card in hand, so I'm able to go like, okay, hit 2 off the generator, attach switch card, the Pikachu, and arm press. Just get some damage to play, 170 damage. I'm like, okay, this might be relevant later. Then he's able to go like, okay, he's actually then able to go into Raichu and blow my Iron Hands, get rid of all my energy. I'm like, things are pretty bad. I just like push Iron Bundle, like, hoping and praying. And then top deck, probably the only card that can get me out of this, because I have a 0-card hand at this point. Top deck Pheasantipity. I'm like, so you're saying there's a chance. So like Pheasantipity into like Nest Ball and like Miraidon. So I'm able to like, okay, get some cards out. My hand's still bad. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get Mew. Just like Mew for 2. Like pass with bundle in the active. And like, so I was struggling, end up going down 6-2. And then am finally able to like, mount a little bit of comeback, but Owen had to use a lot of generators to kind of, get the Raichu attack,
Right.
get the Iron Hands response on my bundle. So I'm eventually able to get to, between Mew and Fez, I'm finally able to get to Miraidon KO the Iron Hands, and then from there I'm still down 4-2. He needs so little at this point, but I think he missed a generator, had some awkward cards prized, couldn't find Magneton, so I ended up kind of having a little bit of time. The other issue with this is I ended up like had to burn 2 gusts. I'd like Ultra Ball away 1, I think, in order to get the Mew, and I had to like play 1 early, just knowing like, okay, I'm ready to try to stall here and force him to get the Latias out, things like that. So we're into a spot where he's able to push Pikachu, and my bundle is also down. So I'm like, okay, so I need to like gust twice basically, because he's able to just kind of sit behind Pikachu otherwise. So I'm like, okay, I need to take 2 prizes with gusting twice. I don't have a lot of time because he can just like power Raikou slowly. So the damage on the Raikou ends up mattering later, because then I'm able to set up after he has just passed the Pikachu in the active, end up able to get to Secret Box for boss, and empower my Iron Hands. Thank you very much, KO the Raikou for 3, go down to 1 prize. So now Magneton's no longer an option. He's still not able to, I think his last generator and his 4 Seal Stone is prize, so some unlucky prizing there. But eventually he has to pass again. I'm able to get to find my Magneton, pop my Magneton to clear the bench spot to get bundle to then win with Iron Hands or with Miraidon, depending on what he attacks with. So stressful game. Managed to get there. I mean, and just like janky, like again, I would have never expected that I could be down 6-2 in the Miraidon mirror with like no board state and like come back from that. So, proud of myself for like finding the best lines there. Again, I definitely need a few things to go my way. 100%. And shout out to Owen, who's been on a tear all season and fantastic first year master.
Yeah.
So, but able to then go to 8-1, be the only person at 8-1 in the tournament, and then from there parent to the only other 23 pointer in round 10, able to take the intentional draw, locks me in as the top seed for cut, and then locks in my opponent Christian as the 24 match points. So pretty safe from ASIM as well.
Yeah.
Which turns out there was no ASIM actually, partially I guess because of me playing, but also there were several, win-in-ins where they just tied and knocked them both out. I think there were like 2 or 3 cases of win-in-ins that just tied out of it. Again, some of these smaller tournaments where it's like in more unfamiliar spots, they don't have the like the practice or the reps in this format or like know all the stakes. So blocked in a couple top 16s, but we ended up having a clean cut at 23 points, just kind of based on how the results went.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we see it happen. We saw it happen in Merida too. So I mean, it's happening all over. These people, are tying their way out of top cut, and it sucks because we don't want to see that. But see where you are in the standings and what's going on. So let's finish up here and let's talk about Archaludon.
Yeah,
you hadn't hit all tournament. So did you hit Archaludon in top 8? You met your goal already. But obviously we're hungry to win the tournament, right?
I am. Hey, I was there for the top 8 finish, but we'll take a win as well.
Right, we're going for the win.
I just show up and play, for Alligator to UIZ or any every other thing else
sure.
after that. So
what happened? Like he played black belt, right? That was
so we'll set the stage. So again, round 10, I was able to ID, got some brunch. Shout out to the cafe nearby, getting some good brunch from the venue. But go sit down for top 8. Hit Vincent Owen. Again, talented player. Actually already has a top 4 early this year with Raging Bolt. So he's had some success and was down in Puerto Rico, chasing more. So shout out to him. We actually played before, and I kind of forgot about this until Vince mentioned it. But we played in Indianapolis, round 8. I was playing Charizard. He was playing Arctina with Leaves, and just like again, tough matchup at the time. Charizard had a tough time, and like Arctina was kind of a pile always, but Arctina with Leaves was kind of like one of the few decks that could actually like deal with Charizard and play max belt. So we ended up going to a game 3 in that set, and in game 3 he prized all 3 of his Arc V stars. So I'm able to win that set just by going like Burning Darkness 180, okay, boss 180, like and just kind of like won things from there. So so he mentioned I'd kind of forgotten about the game, but he mentioned we were kind of chatting a little bit about that. So we're saying, hey, hopefully we have a couple good games where prizing doesn't matter. Basically, is what we were saying.
That's funny.
So sit down from Vince. He was playing Archaludon. I played a couple Archaludons in Merida. I beat one in day 2, and I tied one in day 1. But I hadn't played any Archaludons all tournament so far. He hit me with a surprise in game 1. I go my normal plan. I go first into that matchup where my goal is to just set up Zapdos and get a 4 Lightning Energy Iron Hands to take 2 prizes on 130. And then normally you go like a boss take 2 and then use a Raichu to blow up an Archaludon to win the game. So I'm able to execute that. I'm able to go and take the first 2 with an amp. And he had played Fish, Luminion is able to get the black belt straight. He's like, so black belt straighting, brand new card from Prismatic Evolution, does let the Archaludon hit 260 instead of 220. Normally our Iron Hand survives at 230 HP, but the 260 knocked it out right away. And then found myself down a lot of energy. I think I was able to go and, get a boss knockout on the Luminion from that, just with Raikou. But from there, able to find an Iono and just kind of get me out of it. Wasn't able to recover from there. Try to do the best I can to pass when he was able to find a boss or just close things out. It's like, okay, hey, yeah, Iono me. I didn't have enough energy in play. Wasn't ready for the black belts training. Take a little bit more out of that into game 2. And game 2, towards the end, I'm in a decent spot. I kind of play myself out of what probably could have been a winning position. I was in a situation where I needed to, I was very low on like energy attachments from hand. Like I kind of found myself in a weird spot where I was like missing energy I needed. And I eventually found myself in a spot where I'd like pushed Magneton active. But basically, because I was thinking I would have to pop it, and then found a way that I didn't actually need to pop it to use the ability in order to like put energy into play, which then found me in an awkward spot because I said, okay, well now I have an Iron Hands that's powered up. I can go boss and take knockouts, but I don't have a way to get the Magneton out of the active. I didn't have energy to retreat. If I had pushed up something else, I think I had a way to get a Latios to be able to retreat that, but because of my like mistakes here, I end up in this position where I had to use I had to use the Magneton's ability, Overfull Discharge, just to get out of the active, put some energy on board, but ultimately put me in a spot where it would be very, very hard for me to like guarantee game the next turn with Raichu. Ultimately, he's able to capitalize on this, takes out some of my other energy in play. I don't have enough resources at the time to go and get the Raichu knockout. So I just kind of have to smack into the Iron Hands, and he's able to, kind of take the game from there.
Right.
So, it was a spot. And actually, I think earlier in the game, I might even had to like arm press, and then he was able to go like Turo and remove some of the damage. So had a couple misses across the way. So like a miss, but then I think ultimately a misplay that took me out of it, what could have been a potentially winning position. And then could have brought it to a game 3, and then who knows what could have happened from there. But I look at that as, hey, I didn't play the best in game 2. I didn't deserve that win that game, and I didn't win the game. So then that's just kind of part of it. I am proud of the run. Entering at the top seed was very cool. 8-1-1. I only lost 2 games, like we said, overall. And yeah, I noticed to a top 4 finisher and to a finalist finisher, so I kind of feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, what kind of prizing did you get for top 8?
So for top 8 prizing, again, smaller events, I know they have a lot of expensive things going on, so wasn't expecting like too much prizing. Again, mainly came from my points, was kind of happy to get those. I didn't get a top 8 mat. They had some production issues, so it wasn't like a full rubber lined mat, unfortunately, but maybe I have a way to correct that in the future. Also got a Stellar Crown ATB and some Surging Sparks packs, which was good, plus some promo cards.
Some promos, right?
Yeah, I got some promos. So some cool little things. I know like first place was able to get some Prismatic Evolution ETBs, so that's probably the grand prize of it all. Plus I know they had other divisions, and they had a great trophy actually for the Puerto Rico special event winners in each division. So they had some cool prizing. Again, happy to get some packs to bring home. But mostly locking up those 280 points, putting myself in a good spot for the World's Chase. Again, would have loved the top 8 at Merida where there's a little more cash prizing, but again, I get the points where I get them, and again, happy to be back in Puerto Rico. Love the community there, love the turnout there, and love the support from all the folks there about the game locally. And yeah, it was still just a fun time.
What's your regional point total now? I think you had a 380 and 100.
380. I mean, we're probably a little over 400, so probably like 4.
What was your other finish? You had a top 256.
I have 256 and a 512.
So at 40 and 60?
Something like that.
Yeah, so 40, 60, you got 100, 200, you got 480. Yeah, that's 480.
Yeah. I'd be a little less than that, but we'll fact check ourselves later.
That's pretty cool. I mean, you're doing good so far. I got one last question for you.
Sure.
Everyone listening, I need you to hold your breath, because this is a hot take.
Oh boy.
This is a hot take. 7 out of 16 top 8 placements in the last 2 tournaments were Miraidon. Miraidon was everywhere. Your tournament, top 4 tables, going day 2, there was 3 out of 4. Is Miraidon the BDIF of this format?
Miraidon is very, very good. It's a strong deck. It's strong into a lot of other top decks. But I think a deck is BDIF when it is so inherently strong and broken that like decks cannot do anything about it. I think a meta could easily develop where Miraidon is no longer a good play, right? If everyone just says, hey, Budu doesn't exist, we're just all going to play Charizard and Raging Bolt and Archaludon and, Gouging Fire. Like, Miraidon is not the BDIF, not even close, right? Like, it just probably gets swamped. But it's a very strong counter pick. I think a lot of strong American players have been piloting it the past few events. I think that's why we've seen some success about it. I think a lot of it's around like the caliber of player and just the inherent strengths of the deck. That's able to capitalize on the popular choices for a lot of people, which have been Lugia, Gardevoir, Dragapult, being able to capitalize on Budu. Again, Miraidon just being this great counter deck. And again, it's a situation where if Miraidon does very well, the counter decks will come and play like Charizard. And when the counter decks do very well, more decks like Dragapult and Guardy can come back, capitalizing with Budu and taking out Charizards. And then Miraidon comes back, right? It can very easily be a
full
circle,
right?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see the circle develop some at EOIC or even say the same, but I think especially into like Vancouver and like, tournaments that close out the format, I could even see a world where, we're moving away from like, where you kind of come full circle where it says Miraidon isn't good anymore and now Miraidon is good again and things could keep changing.
Yeah. It's just interesting conversation. You see the results, right? That's all it is, man.
100%.
All right, man. Well, thanks for joining us today for a quick interview. I know we went a little longer there. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's our recap of Puerto Rico. Just want a quick shout out to Christian Solis for defending the home turf. He was the only Puerto Rican in top 8.
Yeah,
and he took it down with Miraidon.
Yeah, if I can talk about Christian, so CJ, so I paired into him it was my round 10 opponent. He was kind of nervous, right? I could tell right on his face. He was like, hey, I don't even know if should ID here or not. He was worried he'd have to play in the cut and was kind of talking with him, running some of the numbers, kind of said, hey, if I were in your position, I think an ID is safe here to dodge asymmetrical cut. He ended up doing that, but, I got to describe CJ, he was there ready to play. He had not dropped a set all game. I think he had a couple ties, but he had not dropped a set all game. And the only Puerto Rican local in cut and able to take down the tournament. Great opponent. Well, I mean, I didn't really play him, but great person when I was talking with him. And then a lot of electric crowd reactions from his win in top 4. So anyone, I encourage you to go watch back some of the clips of the pop off and the support from the community. So shout out to CJ. I think local player enjoyed Miraidon, and he'll be at the World Championship. So congrats to CJ on the big win.
Yes, he will. Yeah, big win. All right, well, that's going to do it for this interview with Maddox. Let's get back to our normal broadcast with me and Parker to wrap up the rest of the EUIC discussion. All right, we're back. That was Maddox Corcoran. Hope you enjoyed that interview with him. But next up, we got to get to the EUIC discussion, give you everything about the meta, what we think of top 6 decks are, what we think of the best plays. I got some interesting questions for Parker. I'm not going to abuse him with trivia this week, but, I'll give him a little bit of a break because we were doing trivia in London. So Max will be torturing me. But before we get into the USC, we got to thank our sponsor, Nakama Anime Cafe. Thank you, as always, for continuing to support this podcast and our player base and growth. And we got some big stuff coming up. There is a card show on March 29th here at Nakama Anime Cafe. And if you guys want to sign up, make sure you check the link in the description. Anyways, yeah, thanks for Nakama. Parker, my first question for EUIC.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going. What would you play if you were going?
That is a good question.
Deck lists are due in 5 minutes. Come on, man.
Deck lists are due in 5 minutes. I'd probably pick up. Man, God, I just hate playing Raging Bull so much. But
Really?
I'd probably play Miraidon or Bolt.
Really?
Yeah.
You play Raging Bolt in this meta? You're not scared of Guardian Lugia? You think it's fine?
I think it's fine. I mean, like, Lugia is just like, do you KO the Lugia on the first turn? If so, you win. Like, if not, you maybe lose probably. Like, Guardy is just tough, but like, I don't know. I think it's like very slightly favorable in the Miraidon, and then
Yeah.
you should probably beat Dragapult.
Yeah, you should definitely beat Dragapult.
Unless they're playing some like spicy tech out list.
What would make you sway your way one way or another?
If I saw the vendors and I saw there were no Girafarig or whatever that Pokemon is, EXs there, then I'd be like, oh crap, I might have to switch it up.
I'm saying, like, how would you choose between Miraidon or Raging Bull?
I don't know. I think like realistically, I'd probably lean in a little more towards Miraidon, but like I don't know, the mirror is probably like super annoying.
It is annoying. Yeah, it's very annoying. I mean, especially because I know some people are testing Prime Catcher, so if you're up against someone who has Prime, it's kind of sus for sure.
Yeah, you can't just push your Pikachu +1 prize around bench.
Bro, I hit a bolt. Did I tell you this? I hit a bolt in Merida that played Cologne. bro went Arvin for Cologne Stone. I was like, brother, ain't no way.
Well,
Ain't no way. I was so mad. Anyways, all right. So Parker, you'd play Miraidon or Raging Bolt.
yeah, I'd play it with I'd play the bolt with like the 1 or 2 Crispins in it.
Okay, 1 or 2 Crispins. Got it. All right, let's review our meta back from Merida. Number 1 deck in Merida was Dragapult Dusknoir at 18.6%. Number 2 deck was Gardevoir at 13.7%. Charizard Pidgeot at 10.6%. Third on the list. We had Lugia 4th at 9.7%. Raging Bolt at 5th and 7%. And Miraidon and Archaudon tied for 6th and 7th at 5.7%. So that's the Merida predictions, or that's the actual Merida stats from day one. Give me your day one meta predictions for the graph in order
Okay.
and give me some percentages.
Percentages. Dragapult number one with 12%.
Okay.
Miraidon's number two with 11%.
Okay.
Uh,
Lugia, Guardy, Zard,
yeah,
Bolt,
Lugia carries aren't. Um,
Ceruledge, Cloth,
yes.
Snorlax, Stall.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to think. Like, I'd probably put Guardy number three at
Okay.
like nine something.
Okay, 9 something.
Um, fourth would probably be. I'm gonna go kind of bold here. I think our Chaladon might be fourth.
It did pretty well in Puerto Rico. I could see that. What do you think? Like 7, 8%?
Yeah, and I think Lugia. I don't know. Lugia.
And that
Yeah,
and this Miraidon meta.
I know, but it's
But they
still
probably
just.
just think they beat Dragapult, right?
I mean, yeah, you just kind of win all your other matchups, and then Miraidon is actually just still very winnable.
Sure is. Lost a 1-2-0.
Yep. Um, that's crazy. It's like you have to like almost like run hot as Miraidon against them to beat them. I would say like Prize or Legacy or something, but yeah, I think that's probably for five,
How much percent?
like the same as Archer Ladon, basically.
Okay.
Um,
And then what's your number 6? You got Raging Bull, you got Charizard Pidgeot, you got Goldengo.
I do like Goldango. I mean, I like Goldango going in every tournament, but
Yet you've never played it.
I've never played it. You were correct.
Abby will give you the nice Goldengos, the coin bonus
I have one full art sitting on the table right now.
bet.
Um, let's see. Uh, I'm gonna go Bolt at
Cool.
another seven.
All right.
Say
So
six. We'll do six.
6. All right. So let's recap. Parker's predictions are Dragapult 12%, Miraidon 11%, Guardy 9 something, Archaludon 8%, Lugia 7%, and Raging Bolt 6%.
Let's move Dragapult up. Let's go. Let's go like 14%.
All right. All right. My predictions are Dragapult. I'm gonna say like yeah, 15% probably. I'm gonna say Miraidon's gonna be like 12. I'm gonna say hot take. I'm a hot take. Raging Bolt at 9%. Guardy at 8. And then Lugia at like 7 something.
Okay.
And then last, people love their Zara, dude. They're gonna think it's a counter.
Dude, I know.
The Zard squeak, yeah. I don't know if it squeaks in though. People are still pretty
You
smart.
think Zard over Dawn?
I
I
got
mean,
Zard second.
I meant Archaludon.
Oh, Archaludon. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. You're probably right. It's probably Archaludon at like 5%.
I think Charizard's close though.
Yeah, Charizard's like right there at 6, I think. I mean, I think we see Charizard before we see Ceruledge and
Oh.
Cloth and Goldango and all those decks.
Mm.
Although people could say Cloth because it's fighting deck, right? But it's not a Cloth deck anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so recap mine. Mine are Dragapult 15%, Miraidon 12%, Raging Bolt 9, Guardy 8, Lugia 7 something, and Archaludon 5%. Check in next week to see how we did and let us know in the comments below what you think the top 6 decks are for this week. Moving on to the next question, Parker. What is
Yes.
the best rogue play?
Depends what you consider rogue.
Cloth, Snorlax, Dragapult Zard, Goldango, like all the lower like rogue for alligator, Slow King.
So like, all right, so my answer here is cloth, but like like if Guardy gets Klefki out, you just cannot do a single thing.
And they're gonna be
There are
playing
like,
Klefki this weekend.
yeah, there are like zero things that you can do. Um, I'm gonna go with
Goldango. They said?
Goldango. It does pretty good in EU.
All right.
I'm saying Goldango.
Goldango. All right. My rogue play is a way off the wall rogue play. Hear me out. What if we try Frost every game?
Talking about the Slow King deck.
No. What if we play Reggie Drago? What if we play Reggie Drago? Like maybe that's the best rogue play. Like people that have been playing it to the majors, are they just gonna put it down after like one tournament?
I mean, I don't know. Like it's
We got Radiant Charizard to deal with Miraidon.
yeah, you have the tools to beat everything. And
You could
like,
you could beat a Dragapult player one game, maybe.
oh, I mean, I think you could definitely beat Dragapult,
I mean, what decks are
especially
we
if you
doing
play.
right now? It's just Dragapult, right?
I mean, some Guardies, and then like, yeah, Dragapult,
I don't
maybe
know.
Zard.
Maybe Zard, yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying that like I could see Drago making a top 32 or better at this tournament.
Oh, definitely. I could see it. I mean, like, even against Miraidon, like if they miss the turn one kill on you, like you probably just win on the
Yeah,
spot.
yeah, on the
Like,
spot.
yeah.
And
Mm,
if you're just attached to Radzard, like, all right.
yeah.
All right, so I said Drago, and you said
Drago,
Goldango.
the rogue deck Reggie Drago V Star.
I know, right? The most popular deck for the last couple of months is now a rogue play. Interesting. Okay, I got another interesting question here for you. What does the great and almighty Tord play?
Something with Pidgeot in it.
Something with Pidgeot. Okay.
Whether it be some kind of random control assortment or actually just Charizard.
Terapagos something. You just got
Could
done
be
playing Terapagos
Terapagos.
ish,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, true. Could
Mate.
be.
I mean, that could be another good rogue player, right? Or
Actually,
Terapagos
yeah,
Buffalant deck.
Terapagos. Yeah, actually.
Yeah. What are you locking in?
Yeah.
What are you locking in for Tord?
Probably Terapagos. Let's just say Terapagos Pidgeot and then X other things. The Snore, Buffalant,
Okay.
Reggie. I don't even know.
Parker
That's what I'm locking
says
in.
Terapagos something. Okay, he's a big fan of Pidgeot, and he's a big fan of Ursaluna. The only decks playing that are Terapagos.
Yep,
Or Pidgeot Control, which Pidgeot
yep.
Control is a pretty good play.
We
Maybe.
say this every time, and I do stand by it, but it is it hasn't put up the results that we've been like looking for.
I got top 32 in Merida.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, I'm going to say Pidgeot Control.
Alrighty,
I'll go on the limb and say Pidgeot Control.
definitely something with Pidgeot.
All right. What is the highest placing? Sorry, who will be the highest placing United States player?
Ooh, Alex Shemansky a second.
Ooh,
Uh,
that'd be kind of funny.
That would be funny. That actually just might be my answer.
Alex Szymanski. All right. I'm gonna go with Isaiah Bradner. He's had a little down year, and when he's in a corner, he comes out swinging. Okay.
CM2.
What will the highest placing Charizard deck finish? With what finish will the highest placing Charizard deck finish?
Top 16.
Ah, high,
Top, top 16, but not ASIM cut.
huh? All right.
I'm making that even older pick.
I'm gonna say top 32. I don't think it's getting higher than top 32.
I don't know, man.
All right, over under players in day two. The number is set at 300.
Uh, 330.
You're going over?
I I think so. It's the biggest tournament, right? Or
Yeah.
San Antonio bigger.
It's bigger than San Antonio.
Okay. And there's what 302 at San Antonio or
Something like
something.
that, yeah.
Ugh.
But there's people who are canceling flights and stuff like that.
Eh, Oh wait, there's only 250 at San Antonio,
Oh, okay.
which would have like 300.
I don't
I
remember.
swear there was one. Oh, Birmingham had 360.
Oh, because they had 8 rounds, 5-2-1.
Yes, 521 made it. 360.
So you're going over or you're going under 300?
330. That's
All
my
right, so you're
guess.
going over. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Asymmetrical cut over under 12 players. Over under 12 players.
You mean 12 players playing in ASIM cut? Or like it going down to 12th place?
Going down to 12th place.
Okay. Uh uh that's probably about right where it'll be. Maybe like 13th.
I mean, you can say push if you want to say push. I'll allow it.
I'll say there's probably it goes down to 13th place.
So you're going over.
Yeah.
I'm going under.
Under.
I'm going under. Down under. All right. Any other fun questions you want to talk about? You want to ask me any fun ones?
I mean, what are you playing?
I mean, right now, if you put a gun to my head right now, there's no reason we wouldn't play the same 60 that has success,
Exactly.
right? There is some thoughts in the back of my mind that like Dragapult Zard is a pretty good play, but I don't have the reps for it. I've played it enough, but I don't know if I have the reps to like play it at an international championship where I need one more good finish, right? If I can day two here and get top 128, I'll feel pretty good about my world's placement.
That's what is it for internationals? Is that 130 for top 128?
I think it's I know it was 80 for top 256. That's what I got in LAIC. So it's at least 100. Might be 100. I think top 64 was my true goal, but
Yeah.
I'd be happy with the 128.
So top 128. It's 120.
Oh, so yeah, that'd be good. That'd be right where I want to be. So
Obviously shooting higher, but
of course, yeah. I mean, my first goal was to make day two. My second goal is 128, and then anything after that, I'm gunning to win. I'm not. Once that's guaranteed, I'm not making any decisions outside of that. We talked about earlier in the episode, Parker, you weren't on the interview, but Maddox decided to play it out day 2 instead of ID twice because all the points are so much higher at top 8, right? So
Oh, yeah.
it was a 100-point difference between 16 and 8, and
Yeah.
then another 35 points below. So 130 would be the difference if he lost 2 in a row, which was a risk he was willing to take, right? The EV there is
Oh,
definitely
definitely.
better. So
I'm playing it.
yeah,
Got 2 chances to dodge a sim cut.
yeah. Or instead of if because if you ID both, you got to play the last round. You got to
You
play the
gotta
ASIM cut. You
play
play
an A
one,
sim. Yeah.
right? So
Yep.
it was good. What other questions you got? You got any other fun ones?
No, not really.
Okay. I got some this or that's. This section is for deck choice. If you could choose between these two decks and only these two decks, which would you choose and why? We already talked about it earlier. The first one up is Miraidon and Raging Bolt. Which one are you choosing and why?
Uh, I'm choosing Miraidon out of those two at this very moment.
What makes you lean that way?
Just a little bit more consistent. I don't have to rely on a forum supporter that I just couldn't find, and I didn't attack because of it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Miraidon, just the overvolt discharge on Magaton and even the 50 HP Magnemite. Like those
I
two
think,
things are so good.
yeah,
I get a better squawk with one price.
our squawk.
I'm good, bro.
Let's-
Dragapult, Dusknoir, or Guardy is the next one.
Oh man, so I have played like I guess I've played some online. I don't even have all the cards to build Gyro Dust in life, but I think I would lean towards that. Like Guardy feels good to play and stuff, but it also feels terrible to play. It's,
True. True.
it's like it's so inconsistent. I don't get it.
Right. Yeah,
That's
I
why
mean, it's just like I don't know. We got to play 3 or 4 Evo. Maybe just play 4 Evos, bro. Play
never
4 Arvin,
four.
4 Evo.
Maybe never four, but like when I saw like Henry Chow's list with like 2 Arvins in it, I was like, bro, how are you ever?
Well, didn't they used to play like 4 Callbell Guardy?
Some did, yeah. That was like a thing for like
Why
a
not play
minute.
4 Evo, bro? 4 Artisan, 4 Evo, 4 Poffins.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the ceiling is higher for Guardy than it is Dragapult Dusknoir. So I think for that, like, I think I have to give it to Guardy if I was choosing between those two. Just like the power level of Guardy is insane. Some of the things they can do just out of nowhere. I mean, even just smacking with an EX in some matchups with a Monkey Dory on the bench is just correct.
Sure.
And that's pretty easy to do as Guardy.
Yeah.
It's not like you're digging for the charm and all this stuff these days.
Yeah.
All right, next one up on the list is Lugia or Swirl Edge. Ultra Ball double chops or research a bunch of way energy.
Ultra Ball double fire energies. Uh Golly. I've played 0 games in my life with Cyril Edge, but I think I'd still choose Cyril Edge.
Yeah, it's close, right?
Like I think I'd probably have a better chance of winning the tournament with Lugia, but at the same time, I don't think I have a chance of winning with Lugia.
Opening has six energies
Man.
and a freaking
Yeah, it's like Minchino and like 4 energies, like an aroma, and you hit heads on the aroma. And you say, all right, pass. Like, I don't know.
Wait, why are we passing and not getting Archeops? Sorry.
I mean, yeah, get Archeops and then, attach a gift to the Minchino and like pray it doesn't die or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I'd lean Cerule Edge also, just because like there's so much Miraidon that like with Cerule Edge you don't have to pop the hell off to beat them. You just gotta like underbench a little bit and not be dumb. So next one, this one's a tough one for me. Clough or Charizard?
Well, this is tough because like Clough's got a fair shot into everything. Like Archaladon's hard, but like it's just like if Guardy goes wins the die roll, they go first, play Poffin, bench Ralts, Klefki, attach retreat. Like your turn is over. Like you, unless you just like opened research, like you literally cannot do anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I played against a guy tonight that was playing a Charizard Pidgeot build. He played four research. And he played like two Iono, four Arven, four research.
It's interesting.
But he played like a crazy number of energies. And here's the kicker. He played a 1/1 Goldango in his deck with a single metal energy. So
That's that's
somebody on his
spicy.
bench that can like just draw a card or two per turn.
That is saucy, I guess.
I think like if I had to choose one of these two for this weekend specifically, Klefki's going to be in Guardy, almost certainly. So I would say Charizard for this weekend specifically.
All right. I'm rolling with Cloth, right? I'm rolling Cloth because you don't hit Gardevoir at all.
Well, we can just play Cologne. Instead of
But
Arvin
then
for
you gotta
Trolley, just
like,
Arvin for Cologne.
and then what? And then, I don't know.
You Arvin for Cologne and then Squawk, and you find it every time.
Sure,
I
absolutely.
mean, the Cloth deck's very scary. I mean, the one guy in Merida to beat two Dragapult was on the way to top finals or whatever it was, top four. That's
Yeah.
impressive. I mean,
That yeah, yeah.
like the fact that they can just item lock KO some single small guys, some evolution guys,
Mm,
it's scary. I think it's scary.
yeah.
I think it took. I think they just kind of went away from Cloth a little bit too much. So maybe some of them have a build this weekend where they play like two or three Cloth, right? And try to get
Yeah.
back to playing Cloth a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, next one is our control variant. Everyone's favorite deck, Snorlax Stall, or everyone's other favorite deck, the World Championship winning deck, Quad Thorns. Which one are you playing and why?
Would I rather watch paint dry or grass grow? That's the question. Um, distant far. I'm going thorns, but I would not play either, and not even just because I don't like the play style or I think they're boring, but I just don't think they're fantastic plays right now.
I mean, who's playing Petron?
Like nobody
Who's
is
playing
playing
switch
this.
cards?
Yeah, but like I guess like Dragapult, like I feel like that's almost an auto battle for Wax.
It's definitely tough if they play a Turo and a switch.
A Turo switch, and then plus like what are you gonna counter catcher? They're Duskull. And they're just gonna go rare candy of all and like put the damage on your bench,
No, dude,
double
I
knockout.
fluted
Like
out Alakazam or something,
I
and then
mean,
they're just
yeah,
gonna go
that's
attack
true.
with Alakazam.
Yeah, yeah, because you have a million cards in your hand. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd probably play Thorns if I had to choose. It, yeah,
Thorns, yeah. I mean, Judge Path is good, right? We talked about it
yeah.
earlier. Judge Path.
It,
All right. Next category is the box category. Ancient box or lost box?
oh, I'm playing Lost Box.
I
Who's Cure? I don't even know.
mean, I think lost box might not be a bad play, but like, I just haven't tested enough against Dragapult specifically to like, if you just get Badooed infinitely, don't you just lose?
Um, I mean, I don't know. You could honestly like just KO Badu with Comfy, but like I don't know.
Let's go Iono. Ione to two. Badoo. I mean, because you're playing the Gigas, right? Like, I assume Lost Box is playing Gigas.
Yeah, I mean Hedrick didn't, but if
Hedrick
I was
didn't play it?
going, no, he did not. He
Wow.
played just Pika, four stops. He said either Hansing, Ninjaing, or Pika you turn two every time.
I mean, double gate is tough to deal with.
It is. But I mean like if you're playing against something that like doesn't threaten it as much, like Nest ball attached for it, like on the first turn, then the next turn you only use one gate. It's kind of like hands, same concept. But
Wait, so did he play anything for Dragon Ball?
oh,
Dude, what is his what?
yeah, I don't know.
I guess he's just saying I'm getting to Greninja, right?
Yeah, that's I guess
Yikes.
it's
How many did he hit? I gotta look this up real quick. Jesus.
yeah. I'm actually curious now too.
Because, like, how the heck do you beat that?
Done.
Merida, Masters, Hedrick. Where are we at, Hedrick?
It's 18th, I think.
Yeah, 18th. All right, looks like he had one Dragapult day one, and he beat it.
Lost the Guardy and lost the Miraidon. Lost the Miraidon. I guess that's possible.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. If we amp and you don't respond right away, it's tough.
Yeah, you probably lose. Yeah, makes sense actually.
Yeah. The fact that he like lost to a Gardevoir, it's tough. Well, he lost to Justin.
I mean, Gardevoir, they go unfair stamp, flutter main, knock out your guy, and like that. Then you're in deep shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang, he beat Carlos the last round.
Yeah. Carlos was praying to not hit him all day, and I was like, it's gonna happen, dude.
Dang.
All right, last one. This is the everyone's favorite category. Well, I know which one you're gonna go with. Gouging fire or Goldango. Oh, there's hesitation there.
Like
I didn't think you
gouging.
would hesitate on this.
All right, I think this may surprise you. I think I'm actually gonna go with gouging fire
What?
because like that deck actually is fire, and like forget the fact that I drew 3 unplayable hands and just like rage quit on live. But like I've been trying to play that deck for like forever, and like it finally got like the really good result. I think it proved that like it's pretty good, and like you probably should beat Miraidon if they don't play Zapdos and stuff. It's like I don't know. I think it's got like pretty decent matchups across the board, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, being able to like Delphox your opponent out of nowhere.
That Fox.
Because I mean, think about
Main.
Goldango. Like with Goldango, you have to bench the Palkia if you play it,
Yeah.
and they know it's coming, right? But like
Yeah.
fire, gouging fire, they just out of nowhere. Like here's Delphox.
Yeah, attach magma basin, energy
E-switch.
switch,
Yeah,
or move the damage off for the Monkey Dory E switch.
yeah.
Like,
Okay, gouging fire. I'm on your side. I'll say gouging fire is better too. All right, we got time for one last question, Parker, before we wrap up. I
yeah.
gotta know what's winning the European International Championships in 2025.
What's beating Alex Shemansky? What's Alex Shemansky?
He's
Let's
probably
say
playing Dragon Ball
what's
Sophomore or something.
yeah, I would say Palkia, but like Miraidon's too good right now.
You just put the Greninja in, right?
I mean, yeah, you could do that.
I would play. I would
Shenanigans again.
send Palkia Dustnor right now if I could beat Guardy consistently, but I can't.
Yeah, that
I can beat everything else with that deck. I cannot beat Guardy.
yeah, it's fair. Like I want to say Guardy, but like if you like playing that deck, it's like every matchup's like terrifying, but every matchup's like so winnable. But like who's gonna run the gauntlet? I don't know. I'll just say Dragon Ball.
Dragapult Dustnor is your pick. My pick is Lugia. Just just fly high, just do your thing, and who cares, right? Speaking of flying high, I gotta get off of here so I can pack for my flight on Wednesday. Got some busy stuff coming on. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Beach Court Podcast. We'll be back next week to wrap up all of our predictions, kind of see what happened in Europe, and maybe me or Maddox will be top 8 or winner, right? So we'll be back. Thanks
That
for
would be
everyone
crazy.
listening. Press the like button, subscribe. We got some crazy stuff coming. I promise you, you're not ready for it. But till next time, that's gonna do it.
See ya.